Well, good Sunday morning, everyone, and we welcome you inside Long Beach City College here in Long Beach, California for the third and final day of our second weekend of the 2023 National Volleyball Association season. Ira Thor joined alongside Noah Chast, Nick England, and rejoining us is Matt Prosser. 4 matches on tap today, including potentially the marquee match of the regular season, which will be coming up at 12 noon. We'll start with our 9 a.m. match. Puerto Rico Pythons are 0-3 in the year, just 1 point in their first 3 matches, taking on a Texas Tyrants squad that, well, they've picked up where they left off last regular season. They are 3-0. They have collected all possible 9 points. Noah, right now, the Tyrants look pretty dominant. Meanwhile, the Puerto Rico Pythons are trying to find a way off of the struggle bus.
Yeah, early in the season, this might be one of our more lopsided matchups just based on record, right? 0-3 versus 3-0. Puerto Rico Pythons still trying to find that first win, and with a shortened lineup this week. And the Tyrants really, maybe not, well, that's a good one, maybe not looking as good on Friday as they did last event, but looking strong. And so they want to keep things rolling. The Pythons got in an extra practice last night, a little bit of serve and pass, trying to regroup themselves. And I know they really want that first win as a pro organization. But I think with the Tyrants, with Ryan Mather playing the way he is, Austin Maltaltia, they have a little too much firepower. We'll see if the Pythons can withstand it, but it's leaning towards the Tyrants in terms of strength in that one.
Yeah. What has impressed me most about the Tyrants right now is that it's been somebody else as that top guy in every match. It was Tanner Maxwell one day. It was Ryan Mather, of course, who's right now one of the probably early front runners for MVP of the league. And then Austin Maltaltia, I mean, had a great effort in their first match this week. So really 3 different guys who've already led the way. There's other guys that we haven't even talked about, like Jake Langlois. So many weapons there for Texas. That's going to be a tough one potentially today for Puerto Rico.
I think when you're not even mentioning Jake Langlois, that's when you know you have a pretty good squad.
Oh, and they also have Jake. Yeah, they're pretty dangerous. All right, 12 noon, the match of the year to date. These teams did not play at all last year. Didn't play in the playoffs either. And we're talking about the defending champion Las Vegas Ramblers and the New Jersey Freedom. They have now won 13 consecutive regular season games between last year and this year. Nick, this is a preview of a match that we've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I mean, this is, again, one of those things, wild, myself prepping for it. You don't know how you're going to match up. So I'm excited to see how another top team, kind of with a team that we all know has that pedigree with Freedom, how they're going to match up. Because frankly, when you look at that Ramblers team, that team's ready to go to pretty much any league in the world and compete. I mean, Penrose and Chapman alone. You got Chamberlain mixing it up in the middle. There's a couple other pieces that didn't even play against Wild that, you know, we're going to see. Presho, another middle blocker that was playing over in the Bundesliga with Max Chamberlain. He was the second middle on the Nets Hoppers. He was on the bench. So they've got plenty of weapons right there. And it's going to be a definite test for both these teams to see if kind of that steady, easygoing system of Freedom, can they handle that explosive firepower that the Ramblers bring? Alternatively, we've talked so much about Jared Ray's ability to control the court. He played phenomenally in the absence of Joe Norman. But again, the absence of Joe Norman is something that we've really got to pay attention to. What is that going to do? How is it going to make an impact? Ian Cap, not at 100%. Once again, that ankle, we're going to kind of see. They limited him in his first action on Friday so that they didn't burn him out. You expect to see him here today, but what is that all going to look like? But again, I don't want to hear about it after the fact. Everyone's got to play their roster. Ray showcased a phenomenal showing. He shouldn't be a reason that team doesn't click. I think that he's got enough experience that if Freedom is going to win that match, I think Ray can get it done on the right side. The question is, can the team bring it all together? We'll have to see.
I expect to see Ian Cap in there for Chris Vaughn today, but I mean, right now, if we do give out a newcomer of the year, Jared Ray right now is by far the front runner. 24 kills in the win yesterday, and they just continue the roll. The Freedom coming in at 3-0. Also, like the Tyrants, have collected all 9 possible points, leading that National Coastal Division. Ramblers are 2-1, 7 points on the season. Their only loss, bit of a surprise to some, and a loss to the Matadors in our last event. 3 p.m., another match that could steal the show today, like they did last night when the Utah Stingers, down 2-0, pulled off a reverse sweep after getting blown out 25-11 in the second set, came back and beat the Chicago Untouchables in 5. What will they have today when they take on Orlando Southern Exposure? Utah coming in 2-1 in the year, 5 points on the season. They only got 2 points for that 5-set victory yesterday, coming in out of the American Central. Orlando Southern Exposure 1-2. They have 3 points on the year. Lost yesterday 3-1 to Matt's Stunner squad. And I tell you what, right now for Southern Exposure, they have an identity crisis in the middle. Until they have all their weapons, which we expect later in this season when guys return from overseas, they're kind of filling in pieces in the middle. I don't think that's going to work against a Utah squad yesterday that really showed incredible resilience. To be down 2-0 and get absolutely your doors blown off in that second set and just have the mental fortitude to ignore that and move on and bounce back. Big credit to George Mencia, came off the bench in that match, and it's tough to come in cold. We were talking about that before we came on the air today. Really difficult to come in off the bench cold. He was ultimately the difference in that match, and ended up deservedly being the man of the match. That's going to be a tough one to pick. I do think Orlando Southern Exposure is going to come in here not wanting to have an 0-2 weekend. They took a set off a good Stunner squad. Do they have enough weapons? Can somebody on the outside maybe pick up that slack today, that offensive ability that we didn't see coming anywhere from the outside? Serving's got to be a little bit more. It was erratic, to say the least, yesterday. They got to clean that up. That is our 6 p.m. or 3 p.m. match. That leaves us one more match, and it's the San Diego Wild Knicks squad trying to bounce back from their only loss of the year. A really good loss, if you have to label it. I'm not rubbing in. It happened, but it was good because it happened. We're thankful that it happened because now we saw the Wild tested. And how are they going to be against an LA Blaze squad that also probably has an identity crisis right now? Blaze come in at 0-3. They picked up just 1 point on the year. That was in a 5-set affair against Chicago. The Wild still look pretty darn good leading that American Central Division. They're 2-1 on the year with 6 points. Matt, you've seen both these teams. Your thoughts on the match?
Well, I mean, I know that Nick's team's going to be really well prepared, right? You did put up a good fight against the Ramblers 2 nights ago, and so that's a good showing on your side against a very solid team from Las Vegas. For the LA Blaze, identity crisis is exactly the right way to say it, Ira. I think they're trying to find their system, trying to put the right pieces in there, relying heavily on Charles Belvin, the left-handed outside hitter for them. Their speed of their offense, I think, is not quite where it needs to be, and they really got to find that foundation that's going to put up a good fight against the Wild. It's going to be a fun match, I think, to watch, and I do expect it to go back and forth. It'll be an interesting match to close out the weekend for sure.
And what's interesting about both Southern Exposure and also the LA Blaze, looking for options because both teams have been completely rebuilt from a year ago. We've seen with Chicago being completely rebuilt. And yeah, you know what? They might not have the record for it right now, but they are a significantly improved club. Southern Exposure, are they better than last year? We don't know yet. The LA Blaze certainly don't look like they are as a playoff team a season ago right now, trying, as we said, to figure out who they are. So that takes us to our picks. Let's take a look at where we are in the standings. Matt Prosser is your leader, 16-4 on the year, a 6-2 weekend thus far. I find myself in second place. I got the silver right now, 15-5, also 6-2 on the season. Noah is in third at 14-6. He's 5-3. That Utah Stinger pick worked out well for some yesterday. Gonna work out well for others. And
I'll take that win.
Nick is 13-7 on the year, a 4-4 weekend.
I'm just waiting. Don't worry. We'll be there.
So, all right, we will start with that Pythons Tyrants match. I get to start. Wow, I get one that I knew before I walked in the gym who I was picking. Texas Tyrants right now until Puerto Rico finds a way to be able to challenge these top 2, 3, 4 teams in this NVA season. I don't see them being a factor in this match today. It's a pretty easy pick for me for Gianluca Grasso's club.
Yeah, I think an unfortunate combination of both scheduling and just the way they perform so far that they're not as bad as an 0-4 team, but they're going to leave this weekend 0-4. I think the Tyrants win this one over the Pythons.
Yep. Too many weapons, not enough experience, not enough personnel. Win for the Tyrants.
Couldn't agree with everything you all three said before me, so I will say also the Tyrants with the victory.
Now, where will we go with this one? New Jersey Freedom, Las Vegas Ramblers. Noah, I'm sorry.
I have to start it?
I'm sorry. I apologize. It's a good way to start the day for you.
It is. It's a tough one. And I think if Joe Norman was here, I think it's still a 50-50 shot. I think both these teams are loaded and very talented, and I'd maybe feel more confident rolling with the Freedom if Norman was here. But Jared Ray hasn't made me lose any confidence. You know, I think It leans in favor of the Ramblers, but I'm still going to go with the Freedom, a little bit of that homer pick. And I think the block of the Freedom might disrupt Penrose and Chapman a little bit. Both guys who are explosive, but who we've seen make some errors when a pressure is put on them a little bit. Can the Freedom do that enough with both their blocking and their service pressure? I think if any team can, it's this team. Again, obviously with Norman, I'm more confident, but I'm still going to roll with Freedom.
I think the unspoken X factor here is actually the ability for Freedom to all go in on their serve and hit their target. If they really focus Chapman in that service receive line, I think that really might create a good bit of momentum for them. Because if you can get him moving and you start to wear him down by that third set, that you've made him pass every ball, hit a lot of balls, I think that could be a good way forward. But I think right now the ceiling for the Ramblers is too high. I think they have more opportunity. The consistency for Freedom definitely easily justifies a pick for them. But when I look at two Titans, I have to assume we're going to get the best from both teams. And I think that edge goes to the Ramblers, so I'm going Ramblers.
So I think two things. The turnaround time for the Freedom, since they played yesterday, is going to hurt them. And then obviously missing Joe Norman is a big loss for them, especially when you look at the matchup at the net between these two teams in terms of size.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going to be a win for the Ramblers.
Two players we haven't talked about for New Jersey. Sam Schuldenberg made his debut at libero and was a vacuum out there. What a pickup he was from now defunct Dallas Tornadoes. Interesting enough, he'll be going against his former teammate Felix Chapman on the other side of the net. I think Sam, having practiced against him multiple times, knows Felix, his tendencies, a lot better than they know where Sam might have any deficiencies out there, which aren't very many. Also, battle of the setters. I think Matt Elias in these pressure situations is as good as anybody in this league with a ball in his hands. While I was significantly impressed with Jalen Penrose first chance, I had a chance to see him play. I'm staying, and I'm not even making this a homer pick, being from the great Garden State of New Jersey. I think the Freedom are just a more mentally tough team in these situations. Slight edge here. This very easily could be a 5-set affair, because every time we say it could go 5 sets, it's a sweep. But I am going to pick New Jersey in this one, in what I think will live up to be our match of the year to date. So
my prediction for the predictions rings true. Freedom, Ramblers. Saw that coming.
And Noah's in first place in the prediction of the predictions.
Yes.
All right, so that brings us to 3 p.m. Another match that really could go anywhere. Utah Stingers, Southern Exposure. Nick, you saw a lot yesterday from Utah. Do you feel that they're going to go 2-0 this weekend?
Yeah, I think they absolutely are. I think that we saw both the Cobrans, Sam and Kevin, dealing with a little bit of that shock value, getting acclimated still to the NVA. Sam was obviously here event 1. Kevin kind of finding it, and I was talking to coach owner Russ Holmes, and he was saying that he pulled Kevin, actually wasn't his first choice, but Kevin's one of those players so versatile. He can be put in on the outside, he can be put back in on the right side. So removing him from the court as the only real sub he had gave him the most bit of versatility. I think that sometimes you're just shaking off those jitters. You're in a new court with a new team. Haragas, that was his first time setting this team. I think there was a lot of things that they were just sorting out. Once they got their kind of mojo going, and Oval Romero is dealing with some massive jet lag, basically arrived from Israel and walked into the gym to play. That is beyond difficult to do.
That's superhuman.
I think that they're going to be a little bit more locked in today, and we saw the true grit that we associate with that Stingers program, so I think they've got it here.
All really valid points. I think for the Stingers, it's a very quick turnaround, which we know can kind of cause some additional hangover, if you will. And playing against the Southern Exposure yesterday, they have some pieces, but they also are missing some pieces. And I think that's going to turn the tables in favor of the Stingers, so a win for Utah.
This is one where I thought about going both ways with this. I don't like the short turnaround time here for the Stingers, and I also don't like the fact that right now Utah's bench is basically very, very thin. I mean, I was really concerned that somebody went down with an injury, that they were going to have to move some pieces into uncomfortable spots. However, Southern Exposure right now, until they figure out what's going on in the middle, I just can't reliably pick them in a spot against an experienced Utah squad. With obviously they have some new pieces this year, but they have some veterans. JJ Rosa looked as good yesterday as I've ever seen him, and first time I've seen him in that new uniform. I'm picking Utah. I have a feeling that we're going to have somebody on our crew, however, pick another team.
Yeah, I'm going to be the contrarian, and you guys all mentioned it, the turnaround time. I think that will affect them going 5 sets late, putting in a lot of energy, exhausting energy with a shortened bench. And I just think that Southern Exposure team has a little more sort of youthful energy to them and really hungry for that win. And I think they'll find themselves in another situation like Chicago, maybe up 2-0 or 2-1. And I don't know if I'm truly, fully confident that they can shut the door, which Chicago cannot. But I'm going to roll with them for this one to end this event. So I'm picking the Southern Exposure.
I think Tyler Hubbard-Neal will really appreciate that pick from you.
Well, it's for you, Tyler.
That's for you, Tyler. Last pick of the day. It's going to be the San Diego Wild, LA Blaze. Matt, you're up.
Well, we saw a lot of good pieces from Nick's team in San Diego that maybe matchup-wise against the Ramblers was a little in favor of Las Vegas. But that will definitely be an advantage for you guys today against the LA Blaze. I think Uchenna Ofoha is going to have a great match tonight as a rebound from maybe not his best performance just due to matchups against Las Vegas. So the Blaze, like we talked about earlier, still trying to find the pieces, put them all together. San Diego is going to be prepped, ready for a nice bounce back win, so I'm going to take the Wild with the victory.
Until the LA Blaze show me the ability to play with these top teams, I don't have a reason to pick them right now. So all due respect to LA, I think this is going to be a San Diego sweep.
Yeah, respectfully, I don't think it'll be close or long. I'm going to say the Wild.
I of course take my guys. One thing I do want to highlight that I'm excited to see is I think that Joel Auerkamp has really had a breakout season for a guy that's been in the league for a long time. Last year, a lot of teams didn't even realize he was behind Ryan Mather and Brandon Rattray on the Ramblers. They had all 3 of those right sides on one team. And so I've been really excited to see a guy that, at 31 years old, he's really making a name for himself in the league. He works really hard, and I think that it's great to see kind of a new face emerge in that side. We all know Ofoha. He's been an all-star in the league for a long time, but proud of Joel and a lot of the other role players on the team. So I'm going to take Wild there, but had to give him a shout out.
In that match against Las Vegas, Joel was probably your most consistent performer all match long, and really showed that some of these teams have incredible talent that you don't even get to see because they are behind other all-star caliber players. Like you said, nice to see a player emerge as all-star caliber once they have that light themselves. So those are our picks for a Sunday. We will be back. Our first match of the day begins at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and it is the Puerto Rico Pythons taking on the Texas Tyrants. And then make sure you stick around for 12 noon for the second of our matches. You won't want to miss New Jersey taking on the Las Vegas Ramblers. For Matt, Nick, and Noah, I'm Ira Thorpe. We'll see you more later this morning.
And we're live here in Long Beach, California, our first of 4 matches today on the final day of our second weekend of the 2023 season. He's Matt Prosser. I'm Ira Thor, and Noah Chast also along with us for this one as the Texas Tyrants come in at 3-0 on the year, a perfect 9 points for them on the season. The Puerto Rico Pythons looking to break through for the first time.
Morning, Ira. Nice to be back with you here courtside for this one.
I missed you yesterday.
I missed you as well. This should be a very fun way to start our Sunday, though, okay? Texas Tyrants, a stacked roster. Puerto Rico Pythons just searching for their first victory of the season. I mean, I can't think of a better way to start your Sunday morning.
I have another great way to start our Sunday morning. That's to send it over to Noah Chast on the sideline for some more details.
Ira, Matt, good morning to the both of you. Matt, you mentioned this will be a fun matchup. 2 talented teams on the opposite ends of the win spectrum. And as I mentioned in our pregame show a little bit earlier, this Pythons team went and got an extra serve and pass practice last night, really wanting to fight for that first win. Meanwhile, the Tyrants not wanting to let anything slip through their grasp. So it'd be interesting to see who starts out on fire here early. I know the Pythons are definitely locked in. Guys.
Thank you for that, Noah. Taking a look at the starting lineups for Puerto Rico. First, it'll be Jose Pacheco at the libero spot. Setting today is Carlos Gonzalez, number 6. On the outsides will be number 15, Joseph Cuevas, and he'll be joined by number 11, Giovanni Torres. Right side, of course, as always, is their go-to guy, Jair Santiago, number 14. And the middles are number 10, Ivan Fernandez, and he'll start in the front. Steven Morales, number 7, in the back, coached by Natasha Mills-Nails. Is baby Erica along for the ride today? No, she's on the sideline. Meanwhile, for the Texas Tyrants, Getting the ball at center, Chris Hall. Libero, of course, is your all-star from last year, Jose Malero. So many all-stars on this roster. Jake Langlois, the former BYU great number 10. He'll be joined on the outside by Austin Matautia, who was the man of the match in their victory on Friday against the Philadelphia Founders. Rest of the lineup today is Vikas Lewin, number 15, in the middle, and he'll be joined. The other middle today is number 4, Skylar Maroshige. As the lineup on the floor, we are underway. The Tyrants, 3-0 on the year. They've lost just once in the regular season over the last 2 years. The Puerto Rico Pythons, one of 3 expansion teams, and they are the only ones still seeking their first win. Philadelphia Founders got that first W yesterday. Ryan Mather swinging away. Ryan Mather has put up huge numbers in the early going.
Yeah, so far for the Pythons, Ira, they're doing a nice job at the net with their blocking, getting some good deflections, but the power of Ryan Mather on the right side eventually gets the point.
So Mather will serve, 1 kill already for him. Back set to Santiago, but he can't keep it in.
And that's what Jair Santiago does really well. Goes high off the hands of the block.
They did call it off the fingertips. With us sitting down, we can't see that far angle by the referee unless we move left and right, so I missed that, so I apologize. Jair Santiago will serve. Langlois with the pass, and that's put down by Lewin.
Now, one of the keys for the Pythons is got to be pressure from the service line. Jair Santiago didn't have a great service match on Friday, and they will need his best from the inline today.
Lewin had a 60% rate on attack with 6 kills in the victory over the Founders, so a strong start for him already. Here is Austin Matautia, who in that match had 7 kills against the Founders, and he gets the ace here.
And you can already see the strategy for the Tyrants. Serve aggressive and serve over to number 15 in green, Joseph Cuevas.
So they're going to target Cuevas. First of what should be multiple aces today for the Tyrants, who are a good serving team. They had 8 aces in the victory against Philadelphia. This will be dumped over for Texas. They go in the middle. Oh, that's kept off the floor. Kick save and a beaut. And this time Santiago gets the finishing touch. Why you never give up on a play.
Play until you hear the whistle. The Pythons were fortunate to get that point. Once again, it's Santiago going off the block from the right side and the back row.
So 4-3. And they hand the ball here to Cuevas on the serve. Ryan Mathers swinging away. Cuevas digs it up. Santiago, the big approach, can't get it to go.
And we're seeing this matchup develop, Ira. It's Mather versus Santiago, the 2 opposite hitters for both teams. That time, that set just a little too far in front of Jair.
Hey, here is Vikas Lewin, your server, number 15. That'll be a carry off the net, so a block. And Texas has themselves a healthy 6-3 margin as we get going in the morning. This match will be followed at noon by perhaps the match of the year. Las Vegas Ramblers, the defending champions, against the unbeaten New Jersey Freedom, who won 13 straight regular season matches. Good job by Pacheco to collect it off the net, and then the end result is a Torres kill. Steven Morales, your server. Jake Langlois swinging for the first time, and that'll reach the back wall. As the former product of the U.S. national system, getting going early on. The fact that Jake Langlois has not been a man of the match shows how deep this team is. And Malero dove but couldn't contain it. And a side out for Santiago, his third kill.
Already a heavy dose of Jair Santiago, the opposite hitter. Getting lots of opportunities to swing, and don't expect to see that slow down anytime soon here in this match.
Carlos Gonzalez, the setter here for Puerto Rico. Pythons are the first, as that goes over on one and down in one. Santiago feasting on free balls. Jair Santiago in the loss to the Matadors. Had a relatively productive day, 19 kills at 58%. He did get blocked 4 times, but when you swing as often as he does, it's going to happen because they know the ball's coming to you. On the back row, cannot be contained. And that's going to be another kill here for the Tyrants. I believe that was Matatia. And an ace for Langlois. He has that expression on his face like, I don't know if that's what I meant to do, but I'll take it.
Though. Yeah, absolutely. Ivan Fernandez decides to step in and pass as the middle blocker. Not a good strategy that time. Texas will take an easy service ace point. Good response, though, right there through the middle.
Yeah, so Fernandez getting involved. His first kill, first time he swung in this match. And the server is Torres. You go outside, Matatia with the tip, covered by a diving Gonzalez. Matatia to swing away. At the net, sit down by a very alert middle there for the Texas Tyrants in Skylar Maros-Shiga. Shige, I should say. His first year with Texas. The one area where the Tyrants are rebuilt this year is out of the middles. As Maros-Shiga to serve. Stabbing at that, Chris Hall with the save. They go to Santiago. That's run down by Maros-Shiga with the stab. Big time dig there by Pacheco. And then it's gonna be a back row violation as Giovanni Torres had his whole foot over the line.
Nice extended rally from both sides. Good defense as well. The team's kind of getting warmed up here as we're 18 points into this first set, Ira.
Maros-Shiga in the middle this year, along with Vikas Lewin, both new on the team this year as they replaced the 2 middles from last season for Texas. 11-8 is your score. Obviously you have Austin Matatia on the outside, Gianluca Grasso, who's been an all-star for this team and the owner of the club now. Langlois, Mather should say, swinging away, and Langlois with the dig. Back to Mather, still can't get it to go. Locked back, they can leave it for Santiago, and he gets to touch. And Gianluca Grasso having a word with our R2 for this match. As our referee having a word with the captains from each side. Jake Langlois on the Texas side. Joe Aguiar is the R1. Jung Park is the R2. We'll deal with replays with Mike Mon upstairs if we need it. Vikas Lewin, leaving no doubt about that one. Ryan Mather tried twice. The Pythons were playing some great D, but not stopping that ball out of the middle.
You know, Ira, we haven't talked very much about the setter for the Texas Tyrants. Number 7, Chris Hall, played his collegiate volleyball at USC with Vikas Lewin, so nice to see that connection going back to old ties through college.
And too long, and the Tyrants have built themselves back to a 3-point lead. Puerto Rico's been slithering along with their defense, but not going to last forever if they can't slow down this potent attack. So Ryan Mather has the ball in his hands.
Going to start a column of Ira-isms.
Oh, there's so many options with the Pythons. Too long. So Jair Santiago already has 4 kills in this opening set. Too long. And you talk about Chris Hall out of Sherman Oaks, California. Just concluded his eligibility last year with USC. Had almost 2,500 assists in his tenure with the Trojans. Also was a great defensive player, just a shade under 400 digs as a setter for his career. And that won't make it over. Jake Langlois was there on the prowl in case they needed him. And we have reached a technical timeout here in game number 1, 15-10. Tyrants well in charge.
Noah's got something to say.
And we're back courtside here after the technical timeout. There you see Mautatia ready to serve. And in a moment, we'll send it over to our man on the sideline, Noah Chass, who will have a report after this play, as that is left short. Joseph Cuevas to serve for the second time. And goes to the sideline and misfires.
Python stressing a little too much from the inline, trying to be aggressive, which is what you want, but also missing a few too many serves so far, Ira.
I think Noah is ready with a report. No, he's still gathering some information for us. Such a sleuth.
Still digging for that vitally important information that Noah provides. And we're going to see our first challenge of the match. No surprise coming from the Pythons, Ira.
I think they believe there was a touch there on that ball out of bounds. So that's what Jung Park, or R2, will look for, I should say. Mike Mon is the official upstairs. We'll be able to bring that video into the broadcast. That's been one of the best additions to our stream this year. All right, so here we're going to take a look. Look at the right side here. Do we catch a touch? Hard to tell there if that caught the outside pinky. All right, they're going to zoom in. Going to get a closer look at this, Matt. It's about as tight to the tape as we're going to be able to see.
Jake Langlois contacting the net.
Oh, are they making
as the off blocker?
That's what they're looking. Yeah, guilty as charged. It wasn't a touch. It was a net violation is what they were challenging, and Jake is guilty. Good challenge here by Puerto Rico.
No hiding anymore, Ira. Oh! Perhaps they were challenging a touch off the block and not a net violation.
So maybe they challenged the wrong thing, because quite frankly, we saw it with our plain as day there. There was absolutely a net violation.
The inadvertent net does not stand anymore. A net is a net, right? If you touch the net, that is an infraction.
You break the law.
But you only get one challenge. You can't use two challenges on the same play, as I learned on Friday.
What did you try to do on Friday? You tried to challenge and then tried to challenge something else after they found the evidence you were looking for?
Well, it was something along those lines. It might be a little more complicated than that, but we're not going to point any fingers or discuss inadvertent whistles, shall we say. And Noah is ready when we get a chance. I think he's done with that investigative reporting. But
oh, that's picked up. It looked like it was on the floor. Python's picking up everything but not that, as Ryan Mather says, enough of this nonsense.
Well, the report can wait after that fantastic rally and finish by the Tyrants. And I was sitting there over on the Tyrants bench talking to Jose Malero. And Jose, a proud Puerto Rican. So this Puerto Rican team, he was a key prospect they wanted to maybe get over on their squad. He decided to stay with this rebuilt Tyrants team, as that one is stuffed back by Langlois.
Let's hear you say it.
Reach out and stuff someone.
I knew you had it in you.
And that takes us to a timeout here, 11-19. I'll finish that report in just a sec. We'll be right back.
go ahead. I don't want to talk about it.
And we're back here courtside. Puerto Rico gets a quick kill here in the middle. And Noah, I think you had more to share with us.
Yeah, just finishing that note on Jose Malero. So he was a prospect for this Pythons team. They wanted him a proud Puerto Rican, but he stayed with the Tyrants. And I asked him, I said, hey, does this one mean a little bit extra for you? And Jose, an ever so eccentric player, he looked at me and he said, no, all matches are the same to me. I like to play everyone. But he gave me a little bit of a smirk and a nod. So, you know, this one does mean a little bit more with this being the first Puerto Rican team here in the NVA and one of the only ones in professional sports in America.
Great defense all the way around. Torres lays out there after a great dig by Cuevas before that. And then ultimately Ryan Mathers just too much.
Ryan Mather picking up right where he finished off in their last match. From the right side, whether it's front row or back row. It's a very dangerous player as Ryan Mather continues to improve over his professional career.
I told her.
Over on one and down in one as Maro Shige with his first kill of the match. We're gonna have a substitution here for the Pythons. Cuevas is gonna be out. And they're gonna bring in Giovanni Lalanis, number 3. And a convincing lead right now. Right now we have a palindrome on the scoreboard, 21-12. Tyrants running away with this first set. As Chris Hall serves. Torres tips it over. They have their second libero in right now in Mario Meza, who plays a great ball. And Langlois puts it away. And a timeout here on the court. Puerto Rico will use their second one. Down by 10. First set will conclude when we return.
Mike.
And it has been all Texas Tyrants. This was a pick that in the pregame show, I think we were all, we took maybe a minute between the four of us to make this pick. It was pretty clear who we were going with Texas in this one. And right now, until Puerto Rico finds a way to play with these great teams, not going to work when Ryan Mather is stuffing balls back in your face.
Torres comes in at about 6'2", maybe. First thing in the morning, going up against 6'8", Ryan Mather. Ryan Mather just with a textbook stuff down block right there, Ira.
Yeah, that was as well done as you're ever going to see. What a stab there by Meza as it's sent over by Mather. And this time Texas called for the net. No review needed. So they hand it to Carlos Gonzalez, their setter, still down by 10. We saw a 25-11 result yesterday with the Chicago Untouchables blowing out the Utah Stingers in the second set, but that kind of woke Utah up. They won the next three for the reverse sweep. And there's your first block of the match for Puerto Rico, and it's Ivan Fernandez. Puerto Rico's not only looking for its first win, they're looking, as this is served right at Matatia, and it's shoved down the line. Ryan Mather hitting out of the outside. This will bring up set point. That is set point now, 24-14. Referee Joe was just so excited for the set to end.
He was, got a little ahead of himself there.
Maybe needs a bathroom break. Joe Aguiar was our referee. Ryan Mather, Jake Langlois too long here with the service error. For Puerto Rico right now, not only are they looking for their first win, they're looking to really kind of identify what kind of team they're going to be the rest of this season. Yeah, they're an expansion team, probably not the highest hopes for being in the playoff picture this year, but where will they be going forward as they try to build a professional franchise down in Puerto Rico? Well, first set, clearly in the column of the Texas Tyrants, a win by 10 as Marishige puts away the final kill. 25-15. Return here with us. Game number 2 coming up from Long Beach. Back here courtside after a defiant first set victory for a Texas Tyrant squad that they're cementing their spot as a title favorite this season. 25-15 is your outcome. Oh, and we're going to send it over to the sideline. It is Noah Chess. He's going to have a word with the head coach for the Pythons, Natasha Mills-Nails.
Thank you, Ira, head coach Natasha Mills-Nails, and Natasha giving an impassioned speech to your team right there after that tough first set. What were you telling them?
I was just telling them that we needed to maintain our pass. It was good, but we needed a little bit better so we can use our middles and we can open our game plan for the pins.
How in the world do you slow down Ryan Mather and Jake Langlois?
Just staying man-to-man and staying in front of that ball so we can block them.
Best of luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Noah. And where's baby Erica? Is over on the sideline?
She's over at the Jair's second favorite spot, the trainer's table.
Well, you know,
she's taking a nap.
I think that's a great place to take a nap, is the trainer's table. I thought that was a great visual in the first match of the weekend with Natasha having baby Erica on her hip. It just, you know, it paints a picture of a working mom who's able to do both at the same time, coach, be a mom, and obviously it's always nice when we have babies on the court. Or this is on the sideline.
Actual babies.
Actual,
and not complaining
yeah, not complaining
players.
ones. What a
goodness.
diving save, and then Malero tumbles over Matatiwa. And that cannot ultimately be saved off the net as Jair Santiago puts away the kill. But what an effort there as Matatiwa collects it off the net, and then Jose Malero, the biggest little guy in the league, basically hurdles his teammate to keep it alive.
The biggest little guy in the league, he says.
Jake Langlois just powers it down. His second kill in only his fourth swing. Yeah, we need more of baby Erica. As that is wide. In that first set, Tyrants hit 50% on the nose, 13 kills in 26 swings. They limited the Pythons to 31% hitting, 6 attack errors plus 2 blocks. Lewin, that's collected. Santiago swinging right at Jake Langlois. Big time day for Yanis. And too long by Santiago, but was there a touch? Officials say no. Jair believes there is.
I don't think there was a touch on that play.
Jair
but it's
waves
so
it off.
Early on in the second set to use a challenge.
Well, they've already lost one.
They've already lost one, so I think they're going to hold off on it. Smart play.
The Jake Langlois net violation before, they said it was a secondary move, not involved in the actual play, so that's why it was not called. So you definitely don't want to be with only one challenge left at the start of the second set. So a good non-challenge there by Santiago as he waved off Natasha. And Santiago will serve. First set for Jair. Well, I mean, as you expect, he's their workhorse. He had 5 kills and 9 swings, hit 56%.
Oh.
And tape you very much. Santiago with the ace. Remember back in the day when, you know, we were young and that was not allowed?
I do.
You know how many more aces we would have picked up along the way? I mean, now you actually practice and learn how to do it. Now that tape becomes a weapon in the dark days of volleyball. You hit the net. No,
I wouldn't call it the dark days. I'd call it
in the olden days.
Early days.
Early days?
Early days.
We've come a long way.
I think the trickler ace is a great part of the game now.
I love the trickler ace. Well, except when I'm on the receiving end.
Tends to pop up when you least expect it, right?
And there's no tape needed. Austin Matatiwa with the ace.
Austin has a heavy jump serve. Kind of disguises it and then just whips it through. That ball hit the ground before the player could even touch it.
38 for Texas. Still early here in game 2, knotted at 4 after a 10-point game 1 victory for the Tyrants, looking to go 4-0 on the season. Torres, that's way up there on the pass. And that is left short on the attack by Yanez. Giovanni Yanez came in on the outside for Joseph Cuevas. Santiago from the back row. Ryan Mather just sticks out an arm, and that's enough for Chris Hall to save it. Then Mather leaves it short. A rare misfire for him after a pretty good defensive play.
That's one of those plays, a great defensive play. Just sticks his arm out, really for Chris Hall. He had nowhere else to go but to Mather. He was off the net. He was about 3 feet behind the 3-meter line. I like the aggressiveness of that swing, but I think he could be a little smarter and aim for the inline and not blast it into the net.
So the first real error for Mather in this one. And this time Mather learns from his mistake with a perfect little roll.
Now you could tell that time clearly the tempo of that set was in system. Perhaps maybe even a little bit low for Mather, but a good changeup for sure with that roll shot.
Smart player, obviously one of the biggest pickups of any team in the free agent market in the offseason. As Mather lays out for that one, Langlois with the left-handed tip, but it's collected by Yanez on the dive. Back to Langlois, and cannot be saved. Jake with the kill.
Large man right there running towards our scores table. I was a little concerned someone was going to get taken out, but fortunately Santiago pulled up on the brakes and stayed out of the computer systems over there.
Santiago about probably 6'8", probably about 275.
Well, he's a good 6'10", I reckon.
6'10"?
Yeah.
No. He's a very big boy, but he left out one short.
Hitting out of the pipe position that time was Jair, but unsuccessful.
At his height and his weight and his strength, the amount of just force behind every attack he has is like nothing else in the league. Talk about a heavy ball. That is collected off the court. They pop it up for Langlois. And Puerto Rico can't shut it down, and Langlois sticks it through for the kill.
That's something that Jake does really well. He's 6'10" himself, but he has this ability to almost like Gumby, right? He can drop his head, extend his arm a little bit more, and attack these balls that most players can't even reach to block.
Yeah, very thin for 6'10", as that one is missed connection there between Gonzalez and Morales. But because of the fact that he's a thinner player, right, he's a lot more versatile in terms of his movement out there. And that's a difficult matchup for Puerto Rico, who finds themselves back in a 5-point hole and a quick timeout here in Long Beach. Back here courtside, and it will be number 15, Vikas Lewin serving, 6'7", out of Culver City, California. Langlois again, and that's going to go to Puerto Rico. It got blocked back. I thought it was going to go off the court, but now Chris Hall realized, this might clip the line. It was going to be in, and he laid out for it. And Puerto Rico gets credit for the stuff. I love those uniforms, by the way. I think that's my new favorite kit, the Python's snake outfits. Big ball, this is coming our way. Austin Matatia with the smash.
So we're going to see a challenge come in now from the Pythons, I believe. They want to challenge the back row violation possibility here.
Well, this will be pretty clear cut. This is, if it happened, it's plain as day on video. Unlike the net, which can go either way sometimes depending on the evidence you have and of course the touches. So we take a look here. Where is Matatia when he takes off?
I can see some color there between his shoe and the line, Ira.
He's good. He's got about half an inch. Plenty of space to park your car. You could fit the truck in there. That's perfect. I mean,
wow.
It's amazing how these guys can use literally every possible inch. No violation.
He was clean.
Yeah.
I mean, the width of a credit card, he was clean. Video evidence, it was clean.
Yeah, Puerto Rico can't believe that it wasn't called, but we saw it with our own eyes. It was that close. And when they look back at this on video later, they'll see what we saw and understand. And they are now 0 for 2 in challenges today, so they have just one left unless we get to a 5th set. Langlois has to step back for this one. And ultimately, at the very last second, wise decision there for Giovanni Torres. Pulls his arms back as it goes out.
Yeah, Jake's attack, that was a smart one. Not really right where he wanted it in his window, but he caught the top of the net on the way through and then just deflected it out of play.
11-7 is their score. Tyrants 4-point edge here in game 2 after a decisive game 1. Off the net, Hall saves his teammate Langlois. They're going to leave it for Santiago. And he's able to tool the block for the kill. Santiago, that should be his 8th kill based on my rough math here. I don't know how well I can count at 9 a.m. in the morning after a night out in downtown Long Beach. I'm getting old, man.
Yeah, you are.
When I'm walking in the bars, and I'm the oldest person by about 30 years, at least that's what it felt like.
30 years?
That's what it felt like.
I don't know if that makes
I know the math doesn't work.
patrons
Yeah, well, the math doesn't work out.
over the drinking age.
There's still a lot of people watching at that point. It's like Vegas, but here in Long Beach. Malero tries to pop it up, and ultimately they run out of real estate. I mean, if anybody can get a touch on the ball, that nobody else could, it's Jose Malero, but there's ultimately not enough space there, and obviously they didn't want to run down Rebecca Johannes, our poor line judge there. She's smiling. She knows she just escaped with one of her 9 lives. Ryan Mather tools the block.
That's just a really smart swing that time. Set was a little bit tight, and instead of challenging 2 blockers, Mather turns it down the line and actually angles it off the blocker's hands and wide.
Yanis, that's run down by Jake Langlois, who alertly came to it and allows Austin Matatia to continue to swing away. Matatia was the man of the match in the win for Texas on Friday. In that match against Philadelphia, the Tyrants were tested. They won the first set 26-24. They won the third set 28-26 after the Founders won the second set 25-22. So what you can see there is it was very, very close to Philadelphia winning that in 3. First time Texas has really been challenged this year as Mautatia yet again. To date for the Tyrants, they beat the Chicago Untouchables in 3 back on April 7th, 22-16 and 20. And then a 3-1 victory over the LA Blaze, where 2 of the 3 set scores were lopsided. And I believe that this is going to be a timeout on the court. No, this is actually our technical timeout at 15-9. So technical timeout, game 2. Back for more. All right, so we're back here courtside. That was actually Puerto Rico's second time out of the set, so it negates the technical, but came on the 15th point after all. Blocked back by Lewin here. Santiago swinging away, and Hall couldn't keep it in. So Jair now closing in on double figures, but it's really been Jair and nobody else.
Well, continues to be the problem for the Pythons, is that they can't play with the lead. They're constantly down by 2, 3, sometimes 5 points like they are now, and it just makes it that much harder, especially against such a talented team like the Tyrants.
Mather swinging away, and nobody knows where it is. Ryan Mather chalking up another. And he'll drop back to serve. Mather's already got 2 blocks today, and I believe now 8 kills, so already a very productive afternoon. Well, afternoon on the East Coast, which is where he's coaching at Lafayette. As that is put down by Steven Morales. But morning here in California. First of 4 today, and the match of the year potentially coming up later when the Freedom and Ramblers finally meet for the first time over the last 2 years. Left short by Jair Santiago. Last year, our regular season match of the year also involved the Ramblers. That was against this Texas Tyrant squad. Only loss that the Ramblers had all year.
Well, looking forward, that'll be a fun match to see when those 2 teams do face off, the Ramblers and the Tyrants.
Off the net, and Steven Morales couldn't get underneath it. Falls in for the ace.
And glancing at the schedule, Ira, that won't happen until the playoffs. So it'll potentially be a elimination match.
Now the Tyrants, the only 3 teams they don't play this year are those in the American Coastal, the Ramblers, Southern Exposure, and Matadors. And if you're Texas, that's a good thing, because that's a tough division right there. Ramblers obviously the cream of the crop, but the Matadors this year, you don't know what to expect from them. They've already beaten Las Vegas, and that means you always have to take them seriously. Mather from the back row, reach out and stuff someone. Steven Morales getting the big block, teaming up with Giovanni Torres. And Jake Langlois tips it to a useful spot. So here is Lewin to serve. Didn't play a ton through his career at USC, but he did finish with 101 kills over his time with the Trojans, alongside Chris Hall. Lewin couldn't keep that on the court, and a kill for Puerto Rico. They still trail by 5 as they hand the ball to Steven Morales. Orchestrated that big block a couple minutes ago. Langlois pops that one up, and Mather swinging away. He's now in double figures in kills through 2 sets.
Really nicely done there by the Tyrants, out of system. Tough serve from Puerto Rico caught Jake to his sideline, but the back bump set from the setter over to Mather for the point.
Here is Chris Hall, your server. Blocked back, but covered by the libero Pacheco. This will be run down by Meza, their second lib on the court, and big high pop up by Jake Langlois. And that will snake off the net by Santiago for the kill.
You just love using those, don't you?
It makes me just sensationally happy. Just such a super way to start the day. It is Sunday. Langlois can't connect.
Well, Tyrants in rotation one. That one rotation where Jake Langlois attacks on the right side of the court. Just misses wide on that one.
Big attack out of the middle by Marishige. And this one will not stay on the floor, pushing the lead to 5 again for the Tyrants at 21-16 for Jake Langlois. Ryan Mather now back in the front row where he can do some really destructive things. There's a kill for number 10, Ivan Fernandez. We haven't said his name too often today. He's got one block, now his second kill. Giovanni Torres will serve here for the Pythons. Reach out and stuff someone. Fernandez and Santiago. Well, now we said Ivan's name twice in the last 2 plays. They leave it for Mather. Block back, Langlois with a quick stab at it. And that is long, but I saw a touch with my own eyes. And Vegas, I'm sorry, that's actually, yeah, that was a touch there. So they're gonna have Gianluca Grasso immediately go to the challenge there. They all knew and heard what they saw, so they're challenging the touch. If this is, it'll probably be pretty clear pretty quickly as well.
It'll be unfortunate for the Pythons if they did touch this because they've pulled to within 2 as the score stands now.
And the camera right here is looking right at it, so take a look at the replay here.
Yep, right
yep,
there.
Yeah, that's definitely a touch. Yep, no doubt about that one. So that'll go down for a kill for the Texas Tyrants. And we're gonna look at another angle, just, want to make sure we get all of the possible evidence. And that was off of Ivan Fernandez's fingers. And you can see the trajectory of the ball just go up just a bit. By the way, we should point out that the NVA is the only professional league in the United States where you could actually see the replay live as it's happening. You see what the replay team sees. It's not like the NFL where, yeah, Fox is showing you 72 different camera angles, but you don't actually see what the replay booth is looking at. This is it, folks. This is what other leagues should emulate to be. Texas knew what it was. They got the challenge victory. They still have all 3 to use if they need them. Lewin returns to the court here. They will hand the ball to Skylar Marishige and his squad after winning the challenge. And well done by Gianluca Grasso inside. They lead by 4. And that's a blocking error on Lewin. So ball goes back to the Pythons. Still trailing by 3. They can get a point here. They will be within striking distance. Over on 1. Here's a free ball opportunity. They go to Santiago, and the set was behind him. He was a split second early, threw off his timing. And now, 23-19, Ryan Mather will serve, knowing his team just avoided what could have been a big break for Puerto Rico. Big, deep breath here from Mather. And he unleashes an ace. Set points for them, in fact, for the Tyrants. First ace of the match for Mather. Gonna come over on 1. Oh, Langlois and Mather stabs at it, and it's dumped over. And there's definitely a touch that time, as that one floated up off the attack there from Giovanni Yanis. So this will be set point number 2 for Jair Santiago. We're gonna have a substitution here. Cuevas will return for the setter Carlos Gonzalez, so the hands will belong to the libero. Well, if he's behind the 10-foot line, the hands will. Don't matter anyways, that one sails long. And the Texas Tyrants, another decisive victory here in game number 2, 25-20. They lead 2-0, looking to improve to 4-0 on the season. Back for game 3 here in Long Beach. Rejoin us, will you? Well, the Texas Tyrants well in charge, and to talk about it, here's Noah Chastain with Texas Tyrants head coach Gianluca Grasso.
Thank you, Ira. Head coach, player, owner, Gianluca Grasso. John, 2 sets, comfortable lead in that one. What do you like from your guys on the floor?
I'm just extremely happy. They're doing such a good job. You know, this team is by far the best team I've had so far in these 3 seasons that I've been the owner. Just like the camaraderie and like the loyalty, and you know, these guys have met each other for the first time last event, and they're already meshing super well. You know, it's been great. I've been having a ton of fun just watching. You know, and I'm so glad I got this group of guys together, and I'm ready to keep rolling.
Yeah, and tell me about that. You had a lot of overhaul this offseason, keeping a lot of the cornerstones and bringing in some big names. How did that process go, and what do you like from this roster you have?
Yeah, there was upgrades all the way around, no doubt, like 100%. I'm happy I got to, I'm happy I got to bring everyone that I could, and yeah, it's been great.
Well, these upgrades certainly paying off. One of the top teams in the league, and on your way to a 3-0 sweep. Coach Gianluca Grasso, thank you for your time. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Noah, and thanks to Gianluca Grasso as he walks out and puts his arm around his all-star libero, Jose Malero. You know, Malero and libero rhyme, so it's almost as if he was born to play the position, and he does it as well as anybody. But even he's been sharing time out there with Mario Meza today, who's done a great job, quite frankly.
Yep.
As that other option at the lib spot.
So far for, the Tyrants, they've been doing a good job utilizing their entire roster.
They are deep there. The only player we haven't seen so far today is Anthony Robinson, who's sitting shoulder to shoulder on the bench with Gianluca Grasso. But yeah, I mean, Noah nailed it there. Not only did Ryan Mather come in as by far the biggest name anybody picked up in the offseason this year, maybe short of the San Diego Wild complete, plucking or plundery. What's the pirate word we're looking for? From teams around.
Pillaging.
Pillaging,
I
yes.
think is what you're talking about.
Yeah, Nick England is definitely Captain Cook. But in terms of regular free agent pickups, Ryan Mather is that name. The biggest spot that they had to address is, all right, what do they do with the middles with neither of last year's starters back? And Marishige, he's consistent out there. He gives you what you're looking for. And I've been, pretty impressed, honestly, with the ability of Vikas Lewin just to do his job at the net and get his hands up and get touches.
Well, let's not forget to talk about the setting position either, Ira. I mean, Tanner Maxwell set yesterday for the Tyrants, got them to the victory, and today Chris Hall gets the start and a 2-0 lead over this very big and talented Puerto Rico team. So that also speaks to the depth of the Tyrant squad.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have options at setter where it doesn't have to be just one guy, Maxwell's good. I mean, he's been a man of the match already this year. But Chris Hall stepped in today, and you can see why he was an all-conference performer in the Mountain Pacific. Langlois over to Hall, and Ryan Mather now his 11th kill. Mather had 10 and 21 swings through the first two sets, and Jake Langlois, who only got set 3 times in the first game of this match, well, he came alive in that second set, 4 kills and 8 swings. The reliable Jake Langlois that we are used to seeing out there. We didn't even mention the addition of Austin Matatia, but he's been super consistent. And Jair Santiago gets his 11th kill in 24 swings.
Well, Santiago has to translate that offensive performance to the inline, because the Pythons need his serve to put some pressure on the Tyrants to get them out of system.
And Santiago with the ace as it splits Matatia and Malero. Second ace of the match for the big guy. Pick something off that one. Better pass by Langlois. And then we don't see Lewin attack much, but he can. And he got a perfect ball to hit there. Just his 3rd kill of the match. He's only had now 5 attempts. So a high efficiency for him. And getting the touch there for the kill. Number 7, Steven Morales. His 3rd kill of the match. Problem though for this Python squad offensively, it's been Jair and really nobody else. Santiago's had 23 attacks through the first 2 sets. The next closest player was Giovanni Torres with 13, but only 2 kills. That's a 15% 50% hitting rate, not good enough.
Got to have a well-rounded offense in the NVA, and Python struggling to find that supporter for Santiago.
Torres is your server here. They go to Langlois, and he puts it away. Jake Langlois, his 6th kill of the match. So here is Chris Hall, a 4-year starter for the USC Trojans. He was an All-Mountain and Pacific Sports Federation 2nd teamer his senior year when he topped the league in assists at nearly 11.5%. And there is an answer and a bit of a stare there for Giovanni Yanis. Are they going to say there was a touch or no?
Ryan Mather admits to the touch on his block, so we'll save time and not go to the challenge system. So good on Ryan to call that one.
Ryan Mather, a very honest man. You know, he's a college coach now. You know, he's somebody that the kids look up to.
He'll lead by example.
Great pass by Langlois. They go to Mather, and he puts it away as well. His 12th kill. Had a couple players from that 2022 USC squad here in the NVA now. Not only Chris Hall, but also Sam Cobrine. And Jair just jacks it. His 11th put away. 8-6 lead for the Puerto Rico Pythons. Trying to surprise the Tyrants and maybe send us to a 4th set. Ryan Mather with the roll, covered by Fernandez. Here's Santiago, and he tools the block. A dozen kills at least for Jair. And the lead is going to be 3.
But hold on a minute, Ira.
Oh,
we're going to get a
horses.
challenge come in from the Tyrants saying that there was in fact no touch, and I think they have a valid argument here. Ryan Mather dropped his hands on his block, which left the middle blocker as the only one up, and it looked like perhaps the ball didn't go over the net.
It did seem to have a little spring on it when it came off the net, so that would...
Hard to tell from our angle.
It's hard to tell, but the way it kind of came off kind of looked like the net spring rather than off of a hand. But let's see. Wow, look how high Ryan Mather's head was.
Oh, you see it there off the tricep.
Yeah, that's no doubt about it. It's not Ryan Mather, but it's his middle. Yeah, no doubt about that one. You can end the replay here, folks. That clips the shoulder of Skylar Marishige. So the Tyrants lose their first challenge of the match. Now the lead is 3. And it'll be Carlos Gonzalez, their setter, to serve. Well, Ryan was telling the truth.
Ryan didn't have his hands up.
Marishige. You never know. Maybe the video doesn't show it, and gamesmanship. And he says, well, I don't need a shoulder. I got a big right hand, and I put that down. And the lead cut to 2. Marishige gets his 4th kill in 6 swings. And he'll serve here for the Tyrants. And that will be dumped right in front of a diving Marishige. Smart play there by Giovanni Yanis. It's coming in. It's probably been that next guy in terms of reliability out there. It's because everybody else in Puerto Rico has been inconsistent. But he's getting to a lot of free balls, or a lot of tip balls, I should say. That one. They're saying they're got a touch, so that's a kill for Jake Langlois. That'll push him closer to double figures. It was only the 5th attack attempt for Yanis, but he's done a great job defensively, kind of being that other guy. Deals with a tough pass, but it comes over on one. And smashed down by Austin Motautia. That'll feel good. There's your giant meatball on your plate of spaghetti. You know how big that ball looks as it's coming over. Off the shoulder of Mather. And then Jair reacts faster than Motautia could get his hands up and gets the tool. So Jair now, that should be 14 kills. Puerto Rico's got themselves a 2-point lead. Hall with the setter dump on 2. Sneaky, sneaky. Using that left hand for the ollie. And the deficit now just 1, and I think it's just a matter of time before Texas takes over this set.
Yeah. Got a very dangerous server at the inline right now.
Could be over on 1. Langlois decides to set. And then he gets shut down by Jair. I don't know, if I'm Jake, maybe I just dump that.
I thought maybe that was perhaps a little too far off the net for him to attack on the first ball. And then the set was perhaps a little too tight to the net. But what do I know? I'm not attacking. We're just watching from the side here, Ira.
You've attacked significantly more than anybody on the crew. Even man of the match, Nick England. He'll forever have that title. It's like royalty. Once you have it, can't take the Prince title away.
Right? Forever.
Yeah,
He's been knighted.
Yeah. It's like winning the Nobel Prize. Once you win it, you're forever a Nobel Prize winner.
Nick will take it to his grave, that's for sure.
It will be on his tombstone.
Tombstone.
Here lies Nick England, former man of the match.
Former.
Hopefully that's not for like another 70 years. Though.
Once was man of the match.
Once was. He's the owner of the team, so he can put himself in. We're going to take a break. 13-10. Puerto Rico on top. And we're back here courtside. Tyrants on themselves in a 3-point hole. Here's Santiago will serve here. Texas in the set just has failed to capitalize on some freebies that Puerto Rico is offering them. Santiago powers that into the bottom of the net. So that won't help their cause to win their first set today. Pythons have only been swept once. That was against New Jersey on April 8th. 16, 22, and 13. But of course, that followed that 5-set win over the OC Stunners, where they were basically gassed. And the gross ball slips through the fingertips of the setter, Carlos Gonzalez. And now Texas within 1. We'll see if they can capitalize off that miscue. Slime on that one. Snaky slime. Torres swinging away. Langlois with the dig. And Langlois gets the line. Jake off balance, actually fell to the court as he unleashed that one.
A little give and go action that time as Jake got the dig after a big attack from the left side.
Seems like they're on the soccer field to give and go. Here's Lewin to serve. Jair flying and gets it to fall. And lead remains one for the Puerto Rico Pythons as Giovanni Torres serving. And we're all square now.
Back-to-back service errors by the Pythons. Not helping the cause, Ira.
First tie since early in this third set after Texas with 2 resounding wins, 15 and 20. This is the appetizer for our next match at 12 noon. Santiago's swinging away and he got the corner. I think there's also a touch there, by the way. Fernandez back in. This will be Morales to serve. Bolero with that reception there. Nothing that Mather could do with it. Off the net. They're saying that was a lift. Actually, it was off the inside of the net, actually, on the inside of the antenna. So they couldn't preserve the play. It's tough to see where the antenna goes through the net based on where I'm sitting, but that's what the correct call was. And that goes down as a kill for the Tyrants. And they will hand the ball to Jake Langlois with the jump float. Mather went up at the same time as Gonzalez. And they're saying it was last touched by Mather. They may use their second challenge.
I like this because this happened yesterday against the Tyrants, right? Where it was a joust of the net, but after the replay examination, it actually showed that the attacker was the last one to touch the ball after it went off the block. And so in this instance, the Python setter's running across the net. He goes up to joust and wipe the ball off of Mather's block. However, if we have the right camera angle, we may see that Gonzalez was actually the last one to make contact with the ball after it went off of Mather's hands.
So let's take a look at what we have here. Off Mather's hands. Oh my gosh. This is so hard to tell here. Freeze right there.
Watch it go.
Yeah, just based on the swipe there, it may have been off of Carlos Gonzalez.
It's going to be difficult to overrule it, but I mean, we're talking again millimeters, Ira.
Yeah, look right there. Look at the swipe.
The ball changes direction from Gonzalez's hand as he pushes off the block. Perhaps that angle shows that his hands are the last one to touch it.
I think just based on the trajectory of the ball, if it's off Mather's hands, it's going to be more of like a diagonal.
Get it.
And indeed, what we thought we saw there at the end was correct. Great insight from you, Matt, based on what you experienced yesterday.
The same exact instance happened yesterday on this challenge system. Got to get the call correct, and they did.
And Gianluca Grasso continues to win challenges.
Unfortunately, the players don't get to see the video that we're seeing. They're going to have to go back and watch this later, but that's the correct call.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico, that's now 2 challenges that they have been on the wrong side of that they disagree with. They also disagree with the 10-foot line violation, but there was
video evidence.
Video evidence to confirm what we saw here. And that gives the Tyrants a 1-point lead. Langlois lays out for it. Oh, power down the line. What a save! What a save by Pacheco as he dives into the stands. And it ultimately doesn't matter because it ends with a Mautortia destruction.
Can the Pythons respond here, Ira? This is a big moment for them.
We are looking for something from Puerto Rico. Pacheco again, but they can't clear the net. Let's give Jose Pacheco the credit he deserves. He is giving up life and limb for this team right now. Dove into the bleachers, lays out deep off the court, and kept the ball alive. His teammates just couldn't bail him out. We know what we're getting from Malera. Pacheco's still an unknown, rookie in the league this year, one of many newcomers. Free ball opportunity, and that goes through the center of the earth. Skylar Maroshige, timeout Puerto Rico, as Texas leads now by 4. They are on the late run we expected. Timeout on the court, back for more, game 3. Now the Texas Tyrants, they are well on their way to their 4-0 record. That one sails long as Santiago was aiming for the high hands, and it looked like they were pulled back by Matatia there. And the Tyrants now just on a run. They are the first to 20. They lead by 5. Do the Pythons have any last fight in them? They leave it in the middle, and that's Fernandez dropping bombs.
Well, finally, the Pythons are able to get their middles activated. It'll be a little too late.
So here is the other setter, Carlos Gonzalez, who was found guilty on that swipe on the replay. And Santiago was over the net there a little too early. Is this challengeable if you're Puerto Rico?
It is not challengeable, Ira. This is not a challengeable call for Puerto Rico. Call an over on Jair.
That goes down as an attack error by Santiago, 21-16. And that's wide.
Wait a minute, gets overruled by our first official.
Puerto Rico's got a final challenge if they choose to use it. And this might be the time, as our line judge, Rebecca Joanna, said out, but overruled by chair umpire Joe Aguiar, but they are going to take it as called. Down the line, and there's a big kill off the right hand of Giovanni Yanes, but still a 5-point deficit for Puerto Rico. They need to now string together 2-3 in a row to have any last fighting hope. Ryan Mather buries one. What a ball from Chris Hall. Such a sweet set, and then Mather just does the rest, as he does so well. And he goes back to serve. Now it's just a matter of time. 6-point lead for the Tyrants. Pacheco with the pass. Reach out and stuff someone. Vikas Lewin. And the window almost shut on Puerto Rico's second event. They are going to drop to 0-4. Tyrants are going to improve to 4-0 and collect all 12 points. Match point number 1 into the net. Pythons need to find a way to shave off a couple match points here. Ivan Fernandez, no margin for error. That sails off the court. Brought back here, and Mather just sends it over. Set was off the mark for Santiago to finish it. No! Misconnection there between Hall and Lewin. Those guys played together in college.
Yeah, not too sure what happened on that one.
They should have the best communication out there. It happens. It happens. Match point number 3. Hall tries to return it to Lewin. Well, now they're just practicing. Match point number 4. They have so many to play with. Pythons just got to keep it in right now. Langlois from the back row. Enough of this nonsense as the Texas Tyrants win game number 3, 25-20. They improve to 4-0 on the year, and they win the match 25-15, 25-20, and 25-20 in under 90 minutes of action. As the teams shake hand, that'll be the final match of the weekend, obviously, for both of these teams. And the Texas Tyrants, I mean, they look good. They were a team that before the year started, just based on the rosters, picked to win the NVA title this year.
Yeah.
Honestly, it could be anybody. It could be the Freedom. It could be the Ramblers. But the Tyrants were oh so close last year. Couldn't finish the story. Is this the year that they did?
Yeah, they look dominant. That's 2 very good wins for them, showing their depth in this new rebuilt roster that Giangrasso talked about during that interview with our guy Noah Chass. So definitely trending in the right direction. They look very dangerous. Still time for some other stuff to happen, but a very good showing so far for the Texas Tyrants so far in this season.
Yeah, they have certainly been impressive. They now have wins over Chicago, the LA Blaze, the Philadelphia Founders, and Puerto Rico. Now they're really going to be tested in their next match. That'll be on May 28th when they take on the New Jersey Freedom, which will be our next team out there. But our man of the match, we had a couple guys to choose from. Ryan Mather was certainly in the equation, but Chris Hall getting the start today at setter, and he orchestrated a great game plan for the Tyrants. He is your man of the match. He stands by with Noah Chast.
Thank you, Ira. Chris Hall, our man of the match. Nearly 40 kills for your guys, hitting 50%, a 3-0 sweep. Tell me about the offensive weapons you have on your team.
Yeah, I mean, we got Matatia and Jake Langlois, just some studs. So, and Ryan, I've never played with Ryan before, but he has a pretty big window. So it made my job pretty easy for the first time coming out with these guys. And we got some good middles going. So passing was good from Mule, but yeah, it was fun. It was good to be out. Definitely some big windows on the pins, and it's fun. So yeah, I had a good time.
And your first NVA event this weekend, a success. Tell me about how far you think this team can go after just one event with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think this league has a lot of talent this year for sure, and I think we're definitely one of the top 4 teams. So I don't see why our team can't win it all, but you know, take it tournament by tournament, get better. You know, this is just my first time setting these guys, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun summer, and yeah, just keep getting better and better.
Yeah. Chris Hall, certainly a welcome addition to this stacked Texas Tyrant team. Our man of the match, Chris Hall. Ira, Matt, back to you guys.
Thanks, Noah, and the former 4-year starter for the USC Trojans in his debut, certainly one that he will be happy about. His team hit 52% today. Spread the ball around well. 13 kills for Ryan Mather, 9 for Jake Langlois, 8 for Austin Matatia. In a losing effort for the Pythons, 16 for Jair Santiago.
Ira, for the Tyrants, only 6 attacking errors in 3 sets. That's 2 attack errors per set. That is a very, very strong stat to have for your team.
They are a efficient team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And when you have 2 reliable hands in both Maxwell and Chris Hall, 2 guys you can count on, they have certainly weapons to win it all this season. Again, it doesn't get easier. The Tyrants are going to be tested their next time out. Memorial Day weekend, they'll play New Jersey Freedom in a a 3 p.m. middle of the day matchup that people are going to want to circle on their
That'll be a
calendar.
good one, yeah.
They also play the San Diego Wild in that event. So that is going to be one. We're going to really see how good this Texas Tyrant team is. We think we know how good they are, but now they're going to have a chance to really put some cement to their name. Now, for the Puerto Rico Pythons, doesn't get any easier. They come back out here May 27th, and they immediately have to take on the Las Vegas Ramblers, who are the defending champions, and then a matchup against a Chicago Untouchable squad that the record may not show, but I mean, I think the Untouchables are the most improved team in the league this year.
I'd agree with you.
Final thoughts on this victory, you'd say, for Texas?
Well, a statement win for Texas, indeed. The Pythons put up a good fight. Just a few too many attack errors, service errors. Didn't really allow them to get all the way through the finish line. Even when they had that lead in set number 3, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, continue to work, keep getting better for their next event here on the NVA.
Well, Texas Tyrants are 4-0 on the season. They have all 12 points at their disposal right now. The Puerto Rico Pythons, first year here in the NVA, they are still seeking win number 1. They'll have to wait till at least Memorial Day weekend to realize that goal. That'll do it here for our first match of 4 today. Stay with us because at 12 noon, this is the one you've been waiting for. I know I have. Circled this on the calendar as soon as it came out last winter, and the New Jersey Freedom, 13 consecutive wins here in the regular season. Does that road end here against the Las Vegas Ramblers, or now does New Jersey become the biggest team with a target on their back? 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. We know you won't want to miss that one. For our entire hardworking crew, including Noah Chast and Matt Prosser, I'm Ira Thor. Rejoin us at noon Pacific. Until then, be well, everybody.